Aloha!
Welcome.
And welcome. We are here from Honolulu today. Most of the time we do our filming in Las Vegas. We decided to change it up a little bit, and so here we are.
That's right. This is Who Closed Last Night, brought to you by Walnut Street Hospitality Group. My name is Zach.
And I'm Stan.
And what we like to do is share some of our stories, some of the ways we've gotten past some obstacles, some hard times in the last 10 years, what we've done to overcome them, what we've done to strengthen ourselves, how we've always stayed due north on our goal, even though we wander sometimes. We try to pull ourselves back up, stay pointed in our direction, and we'd love to share with you some of our downfalls and how we fixed it so you guys don't have to go through that. We weathered the storm for you.
That's really what this is about. We're not here trying to preach or anything, but you know what? If we can help someone get a little further ahead, maybe look at themselves a little differently, build themselves up.
Or someone just that has similar maybe thoughts that just need maybe to hear someone else say it to make sure that they're not going crazy.
That's right. So one of the things that you could do to help us, of course, is to follow our podcast, like it and share us. And
I'll tell you where to find that at. On Instagram at whoclosedlastnight_, TikTok at whoclosedlastnight_. You can find us on Facebook at whoclosedlastnight. We're on YouTube. You can watch both of us chat it up at Who Closed Last Night Podcast. Listen to us on Spotify, and you can send your stories, comments, and topic recommendations to us at whoclosedlastnightpod, POD, at gmail.com, and we'd love to share that with our audience.
We always want to share, and if you'd love to be on our podcast, we'd love to figure out how to make that happen. We can talk about your business. Right, and
very cool.
And I think that's
different topics.
Some different topics, but this isn't about business. This is about leadership. It's about a little bit of thought process, and it's everything to help you become a successful person, not just a business person, but a person.
That's right.
So today we got a special topic for you. It's called the blame game, and what we're trying to tell you is, don't play it. Take responsibility for yourself. Don't be a player in the blame game. Anyway, so that's what we're about today, the blame game. And I guess what I'd like to say about the blame game, just to get started, is we've all spoken to people, right? Doing this and doing that. And their whole thing is, woe is me, again.
Woe is me.
This happened because look what happened to me. Oh my God, this was bad. That was bad. It's always everyone else's fault. My boss got mad at me because I came in late, right? 20 times. And it's the
traffic.
It's the traffic.
But the traffic hasn't changed. It's the same traffic every day. You gotta adjust what you're doing, right?
That's right. And I think what people don't understand is, there are times, right? Your car breaks down. You can't help that. You didn't plan that. But when your car breaks down, every day that you come to work, the question is, did your car break down, or are you just too lazy to set your alarm and get your ass up out of bed?
You're addicted to that snooze button.
Addicted to the snooze button. But that's what the kind of people that we're talking about is the people that always have an excuse, and it's always someone else's problem, and they blame their lives or lack of whatever on everyone else and don't take any responsibility for their own actions or for their own results.
That's right. And I think a different way of looking at that is they showed their priorities and they just don't align with whatever goals they had in front of them, right? So if your priority is to make sure you're to work on time, right, you would have moved differently, unless those situations that are unforeseen and uncontrollable happen. And, those are usually few and far between. And there's always a sense of understanding for those people when all four of your tires got slashed on different days in the same week, you either did have some crazy relationship going on outside of work.
That's some karma there.
That's some karma, or you're just showing up late to work.
Yes. So I guess I've been lucky. Well, I wouldn't say I've been lucky. I think people create their own luck, right? But I've had the privilege of being responsible for a lot of team members and team leaders, either through work interaction, interview processes, and what really always makes me smile is when you talk to people that don't blame anyone and everything is positive. Their glass is half full all the time, right?
That's right.
That's what I'm sure stuff happens to them. It's how they look at it. So I had someone tell me once that, they got a flat tire. That's why they're a little late. And I'm sorry for being late. And they went on to say, I knew that tire was bald. Right?
Respect them.
I was like, oh my God. They took responsibility. They didn't complain about it. They just wanted to make sure that I understood that that's not their normal, method of operation.
That's right. That's right.
What about you? What are some of the things that you've had people that don't take responsibility? Some of the things that they don't think are their fault.
Well, I could tell you a ton of why people get late to interviews, stories, and it's always ends up being the same thing. But I think that something you've told me before, if you gotta pull someone teeth to get them to show up for the interview, they're really showing you what it's going to be like having them on the team, right? And so if they're going to be late to their interview, and again, this is not each case. There's outside things that happen, but mostly true is if you're going to be late for your interview on your first impression, and you're probably not going to make it to work on time. Your personal life is probably similar to your professional life, and so you can expect the same kind of results in their professional lives that they allow to happen in their personal life. But to answer your question, I think that why I had a manager this past month, and so we're meeting about some end of the month numbers and goals, and the first thing she throws out at me was that this huge soda fountain order that she had purchased, and I asked her, and she's been with me for a while, almost 2 years now, and I asked her, how come you ordered so much? She no longer has training wheels on, and she knows better, right? So why did you order so much? Oh, because we needed one of everything, but what was your minimum, to get it delivered or whatnot? And she was like, well, previously they didn't give us our delivery, so I didn't want us to get screwed this week or screwed this month. Well, how long is that going to last you? Oh, this should last us 3 months. And she wasn't taking accountability of her own actions, right? She decided to put in this huge soda order, and her reasoning was, in my head, was she just wasn't thinking strategically. The outcome of it was she didn't hit her numbers, and she just didn't want to deal with having to place a weekly order, which is normal and regular, and she didn't want to have to take that inventory each week so she had enough room to pivot to get to the result at the end of the month. And she didn't take accountability for the amount of money that she was spending.
I think one of an interesting, I guess, when you have managers and they realize that they're not reaching their goals. And then you start to peel back the onion, right? Then you start to ask a question. What was your logic for doing this?
Yes.
And
because they knew exactly what it was that threw them over, right?
Yep.
So they put the finger on it and said, this is the reason. And then, like you said, you got to peel back the layers.
Start peeling back the layers.
Tell me about that.
Tell me about that, right? And at the end of the day, usually by about 3 or 4 questions, if they're smart, they're saying, yeah, I think I just screwed up.
If they're honest.
If they're honest.
If they're honest.
Right. But then there are those people that just say, they just keep perpetuating this story. And then they get caught up in their own underwear and start tripping, right? Because they said this, 3 questions later, they're saying the exact opposite. And it's like, but you just said this over here. You just said that the lemon was yellow. and now you're telling me that you needed to order limes that
That's
are green, right? And I think
they're looking for a way to deflect the blame, right? And it's not like we previously mentioned. It's not necessarily about the blame.
no.
It's about analyzing the steps leading up to the outcome, so that the next cycle, the next month, the next week, the next time you order, whatever your time frame is, your cadence is, you don't make the same decisions and end up with the same results.
Yeah.
What's the quote you always like to say?
Which one?
That's very true. The one about if you don't change what you're doing, you're not going to change the results. Or what's the definition of insanity?
Insanity, yeah. And that is absolutely true. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. And people just, they know it, but they don't listen to themselves, right? Instead, they revert back to, let me just blame someone. Let me just blame let me find a reason and blame it on everything except who's looking at me in the mirror.
That's right. And people get caught up in doing routines, right? And not every month of the year is not the same. There's different holidays. There's different seasons. The people travel in certain seasons. Holiday season's right around the corner, and people are going to be traveling around. So that means wherever they're traveling to is probably going to have an uptick in some restaurants. If you're talking about restaurants or some retail, Christmas comes around. I'm sure Amazon sales go through the roof, right? There's seasons for things, and if you're treating every month the same and not pivoting, not analyzing and adjusting, then you're not going to be successful as times change, seasons move on, and New Year's come.
By the way, isn't every day Amazon season?
Oh man, that's true. Especially if you're like me and just you don't need to go to a convenience store anymore. You're a couple days out, so I don't know. You put the order in for next week because you're running low on whatever it is, and you're going to get a better deal on Amazon.
He's blaming that on something else other than himself. So anyway, it's kind of funny because since I'm a boomer and old and all that stuff that people accuse me of, I think I have so much experience that you start to be able to see patterns in people. And the patterns are typically the same person that can't get to work on time, is the same person that blames why he couldn't hit a goal at work on something else. The blame game seems to take a hold of someone, and it becomes their way of life, right?
Yeah.
It's they left a job because it was someone else's fault.
Yes, because management sucks.
Because the management sucks, or the people didn't like them, or
all 5 previous jobs that they left all have the same reason.
The exact same reason, right? And I think for me, that's really that says something, right?
Yeah.
And I get it. I mean, maybe sometimes it does take you a little while to find home.
Yeah.
But the reasons shouldn't always be the same.
And there are poor managers and leadership out there, right?
There are.
That's valid for, I'm sure, plenty of businesses. I don't think that every business you choose to work at had poor leadership, and that's why you left after a month and a half.
So this blame game is for everybody. I mean, I guess I don't look at it for myself as the blame game. I look at it for myself as, did I take the responsibility that I needed to take? And so, for example, if there's a location that's not performing, I don't necessarily say, well, it's because that person didn't do this or that person didn't do that. I kind of look at myself and say, I should have got rid of that person, right? I left them in a position to hurt the business too long. I didn't react. I didn't respond. It's not everybody else's fault. And I think that's something that people have to make sure that they do, right? I mean, um,
Yeah, I mean, there's two sides to everything, right?
I'm getting terrible gas mileages because I haven't put air in the damn tires, right? And
People probably don't know that, Boomer.
people air.
That's what that thing on the dash means.
There's air in those tires. um, but I think that what you really have to do is you have to look at yourself and figure out that no one is coming to save you. You want your life to change, you got to take responsibility for your life. You want to do better, then take responsibility for doing better.
That's right.
Right? And that's what we're trying to get at here is don't blame other people. Suck it up and take responsibility and then fix it.
Be the captain of your ship. Take control and go to where you want to be.
That's right.
Take the boat with you. You got to steer the boat.
Sometimes you got to get that boat, right? But it's all about initiative and
That's
not
right.
blaming other people for where you are in life.
That's right.
Or why you didn't succeed here, why you didn't succeed there. I mean, and again, there are exceptions to the rules. Some people, may have just had some shit happen to them.
Absolutely, and I guess to that, I would also say that we've all failed before, right? It's not about being successful 100% of the time. It's being able to analyze and be aware of where you failed at, what you could have done better, and then putting the full steam behind improving those weak spots so that you come out and change the course of your own destiny, right? Because we've all failed.
We've all failed, but we all have the ability to create ourselves or recreate ourselves. I got a couple things to say. First of all, no one is coming to save you. Save yourself. Be the person that people want to help to succeed, not the person that people want to get away from. Quit being a little bitch. Negativity is like a virus and it festers and grows, right? Pretty soon.
Oh my gosh, that's so true.
Right?
Right. Especially if you're the leader. You always got to be positive because everybody behind you marching with you is going to have your energy.
And they say birds of a feather flock together. So pretty soon you find yourself in a whole flock of negative people,
Yes.
right?
Storm cloud.
A whole storm cloud of little negative bitches, negative Nancy's. Stop. Get out of there. Find a different crowd that ignites you, that sets you on fire. Hell, be that person that ignites the rest of the crowd, right? Quit blaming other people. Quit going down that path of bullshit.
That's right. Be real with yourself.
That's hard.
That is hard.
That is hard. Okay, so you've heard our bullshit, and but one thing you'll find about us is we're not afraid to speak our mind. We're not afraid to say, "Oops, I screwed up."
That's right.
And because we're in this great country, we have the ability to do that, as do you.
That's right. And what do we usually end with?
It's our word, and especially since we're filming today, it's Friday. That word is, we're going to put an extra in front of it.
Yeah. Extra aloha. And in Hawaii, it's Aloha Friday.
There we go. Have a good one.
See you next time.